Welcome to Career Pathways, a series developed by the School of Humanities and Social Sciences at Indiana University East. We will introduce you to professionals in our regions who hold an undergraduate degree in the liberal arts. Our conversations will explore the pathways that have led them to their current professional positions. We will also learn more about the knowledge and skills they gained as undergraduates that have aided them in their professional lives. Hello, and thank you for joining us today for our first episode of Career Pathways. I'm your host, Lauren Little, and I'm an academic advisor here with the School of Humanities and Social Sciences. Today I'm joined with Liz Ferris and Michael Scott. They also work with me here at Indiana University East. I'd like to have both of you introduce yourself and tell us what you do here at the university.
Sure. Well, my name again is Liz Ferris, and I am the Career and Experiential Learning Coordinator. And basically what that means is I oversee anything related to career services. So working with students prior to them being students through graduating and being alumni. And then I also help to coordinate and track all internship placements outside of nursing, social work, and education.
Excellent. Thank you.
And my name is Michael Scott. I'm a couple different titles here at IU East. I'm a student success coach, which I help students with accountability with their classes and their grades and just making sure that they're succeeding throughout their first year experience. I'm a career advisor and work with Liz on resume building and different career opportunities. And I'm an exploratory advisor for students that are exploring their options of declaring a major and just trying to figure out what kind of a career and industry they want to pursue.
Excellent. Well, thank you both for joining me today.
Sure.
Liz and Michael are going to be helping me host all of our various guests that we have. We have 22 over the season today that we'll be getting to meet, and that'll be really exciting here. But what's really unique about our students who are in the humanities and social sciences is that they don't have one career path, which is why we like to feature them and show people what there is to do with that degree. And that's kind of where I wanted to start off. Is one of the biggest questions we always get from people is what is the humanities and social sciences? What does that exactly mean? I think that's probably one of the biggest questions I get when I go to admissions events. High school students maybe don't realize that they already know exactly what it is. But what would you kind of guys define it as?
Well, I think the term humanities in itself, the study of human behavior, human understanding, things that are important to humans. So everything from the arts to music, sociology, psychology, and bringing in social sciences because sometimes those get mixed in with that. But so the study of things that are important to humans and how humans relate with each other.
Absolutely. I think that human experience is such a big thing, and a lot of people don't realize how many majors kind of encompass that. So if we can kind of give people an idea of what that is, it's English, it's communications. We're also looking at criminal justice, psychology, sociology, those kind of things, and it's really a wide variety of things, as well as a wide variety of what you can do with it in that area there. Absolutely. Well, Michael, in your experience, since you help a lot of our first year students go through an exploring process of figuring out maybe a career path or a major, what exactly drives students to maybe consider the major or just outright choose it in a kind of a humanities and social science area?
Sure. I think that kind of initial spark for them, it develops a little bit just before they get to college. I think it can happen through just a general networking opportunity. It could be a parent that's kind of had that career towards that major. It could be something that they've even seen in the media that sounded exciting or looked interesting. And I believe that every student has some kind of initial spark before they come to college, and then I have the opportunity to meet with them and develop with them and kind of help them kind of realize what that spark is and what that interest is, and that's kind of where my exploratory advising comes in with students that are just trying to figure out what kind of major they want to choose. And we have an assessment program here at IU East called the Focus 2, which we have all of our freshmen take, but it's really cool to see those exploratory students take those assessments and figure out what their work interests are, their skills, personality, and just how those can kind of align with those humanities and social sciences degrees. And walk with them and develop with them through that. And if they're leaning towards a criminal justice or psychology major, you know, that's where we would talk about potential careers for those majors, or would just point them directly towards an HSS advisor. So it is a slow and steady process, but at the end of the day, it's a good development process for them of what they want to pursue.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. About it. It is a process. It's not something that happens overnight. You know, I teach a basic career development class, and it's a short 6-week class. And sometimes students think that it's going to be at the end of those 6 weeks, I'm going to know exactly what I'm going to do. And it's really, we're helping them gain the skills to help them make those really tough decisions, because it is really big, and it's something that, you know, 18 years old out of high school. What do you think you want to do? That's a huge question to prompt yourself with. So I completely agree, and I think helping students kind of pick a variety of classes too to determine where their niche is, because they may not always know that right off the top of their head. I know I have several students that declare majors, but maybe they're not exactly set in that, so we use their general education classes to kind of, you know, nudge them in one way or another to see, well, how do you think about this class? You want to try this? Because you never know. That's kind of that's the cool part about being able to explore in those options. The opportunities are almost endless there. Absolutely. Well, what kind of opportunities do you think liberal arts students pursue while they're completing their education that would really set them apart once they enter the workforce after they graduate?
Well, there's several things they can do, and I think you know, in our office, focusing on career development, one of the big things is, and Michael talked about exploratory students. So sometimes in that process, while they're still trying to decide, we encourage informational interviewing, where they set up a time to meet with someone who's in a profession, learn more about that profession.
Right.
But it also gets them out there. It gets their name out there. I've seen people in informational interviews, employers say to students, do you have a resume you could send me? Secondly, obviously job shadowing, internships are huge, and I think, you know, the defining success for an internship, it doesn't just mean that a student has a job lined up. That actually doesn't always happen, nor do we promise that. But the student has been exposed to a work environment. I get to read their evaluation forms, and it's so neat time after time to hear students say things such as, you know, I've never been in a professional work environment before, and just being in an office, having a desk assigned to me, having a role, you know, she wanted to show her boyfriend her workstation because she just had never had that before. I've had students who have said, you know, I was able to contribute ideas to projects, I was able to help this organization achieve results, but I learned that I need a job where I'm more active, you know. So there's some learning and some takeaways from that. And we see, you know, the humanities, social sciences students interning everywhere from, you know, the local, you know, law enforcement offices to helping to write grants for nonprofit agencies. Our English majors get to do that, working at a museum, just all kinds of areas. We've had a music student last summer interned with a music company, promotional company in Indianapolis, and helped with events. So, you know, just getting some kind of workplace experience and seeing what's out there and realizing, you know, it is different than a major that is technical, where not that it always leads to one path, but, you know, nursing students, they are getting some really specific skills to do a somewhat specific career, and liberal arts or humanities, social sciences students are getting more of a broad base and can do a lot of different things.
Absolutely. I think the job shadowing thing is really key, because I have a lot of students that they're scared to apply for those internships, and the job shadow, shoot, you could do that for a couple hours with somebody just to kind of walk through their morning to see what it's like. And yeah, the internship opportunity too, you may not always discover that that's what you want to do. I've had a couple of students that told me the experience was great, but I definitely don't see myself in that area, and it's a good way to weed things out and make sure that, you know, you're kind of moving in the right direction there for you. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think some of those opportunities also kind of spawn from just those impromptu networking opportunities. You know, that, you know, networking can be a very intimidating thing, but once you've kind of practiced your 30-second pitch, your second 60-second pitch, it can become natural. And you know, the important thing is just to talk about what you're pursuing, because you don't know who you're going to run into. You don't know who you've known for a long time that has a background in humanities, social sciences, and has a career in something else, or you know, that stayed with their path. And it's just about talking about what you are pursuing so much. And I think that is so important, that we want our students to know, is to develop those networking skills and talk about it as much as you can.
Yeah, I think that's so key. In fact, with our students in our basic career development class, I do a networking activity, have them sit down with two people and find out how many things do you both have in common. And let's start there. And networking can be just as simple as that for our students, to kind of establish where your common ground is and where you can go from there, because you'd be surprised how many people, you know, have the same things in common that they didn't know. And that can be kind of an easy way to get students to kind of realize, oh, it's not this huge daunting thing that I can't do. I already know what I'm doing with it, which is very exciting. Awesome. Well, Liz, when you speak with potential employers about what kind of skills and abilities that they're looking for in potential candidates, what really sticks out that they say this is really what we want to see in our new graduates?
You know, that's a great question. And even with degree programs that require specific technical skills, even with those, the employers say, we want to know that an employee has communication skills. And that includes verbal communication, written communication. You know, now there is a lot of communication. We know in higher education, you got to check your emails all the time,
yes.
and when you send emails back, you know, you have to really think through what am I trying to say, and is the person going to understand it? So communication skills usually is number one, and then we also hear a lot about critical thinking or problem-solving skills. So not just that a potential employee can do something specific, but can problem solve around that.
Right.
You know, and of course I hear, you know, depending on who the employer is, we want somebody who's going to show up and be there. And then also another thing is someone who can work independently, think through things and do their work tasks, but then also can work in a team environment and you know how to adjust their roles in those situations. So those are the probably 3 or 4 top skills, qualifications that employers talk about regardless of the career area.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think the teamwork one is one I hear quite a bit, being able to work in groups, especially when we have students, you know, work in group projects. They want to know, how is this going to apply to what I'm doing in the real world? It does a lot, because you're going to be working in groups all the time, being able to do that problem solving, which is, you know, so key to making sure that whatever organization they're working for, they're moving forward with it. Absolutely. Do you hear anything, Michael, about maybe, I know you work in the career aspect of things in that area too, about maybe some skills that they are looking for with students and potential graduates?
I had to think about that question for a second. So, yeah, you know, I think there are many different skill sets that are, you know, that employers are looking for. You know, team-oriented. You know, work independently, organization, time management. So I think employers, you know, have a general skill set that they're looking for with students, but specific ones towards their major as well that they've developed in college as well. So
yeah,
I think Michael and I work a lot on the resume end of it, and so when we talk to students about what are the skills that they have, you can't just say time management, communication skills. You know, how do you demonstrate that on a document to get an employer's attention? And so helping them understand how to identify those skills in themselves, and then how do you and communication, which is one of those skills, how do you communicate that to an employer?
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree with the time management. That's definitely one that's pretty high on the totem pole there when you're thinking about what we want our students to be able to demonstrate too. Excellent. Well, when a student graduates with a liberal arts degree, what do you believe is their strongest asset that they have to provide? And it can be a broad aspect or something very specific.
You know, I hope at the end of the day when our students graduate that we've developed a holistic leader that's ready for the workforce, that they have, you know, the majority of what those skill sets that employers are looking for, you know, being a team player, working independently, you know, but, you know, I'm hoping that, you know, through that holistic development that they've gained, you know, confidence that they can, that they're ready for the career that they want to pursue, and that, you know, of course, that there's, there's a level of newness and freshness when you enter a job, but that they're confident that they're going to do the job well, and that they have a strong work ethic. So, yeah.
Yeah, the work ethic's very important there too. You want to make sure the students are out there feeling good about too what they want to pursue, and if they aren't finding complete satisfaction, maybe how they can figure that out and where they can go from there. Hopefully we've provided them that skill set. Absolutely.
I think Michael makes a great point. He used the term holistic.
Yes.
And being in career services, I'm very hesitant to ever say that a degree itself is going to guarantee something.
True.
So what I appreciate, and he and I both have liberal arts backgrounds, so this is very real for us, but I think our humanities, social sciences students, what we'd like to say is because they have majored in a certain area, we know that they have been exposed to a wide variety of things. I use the term breadth. I would say that students who, we hope, who graduate with those degrees have a broad range of qualifications. So, I use the example of even some of our, general studies students who have a lot of the humanities, social sciences classes. I have seen some of those students walk away with their diploma and with an amazing ability to write and communicate, and compared to even some of our other areas of focus on our campus. And I'm not going to say that's true of every single person, but I think it's also what the person brings to the degree, but what experiences he or she has while they're in that degree program, and which is why you bring up the question, what are things that they can do while they're working on their degree. But holistic, I think that's a key in that it's not just the degree itself, but it's all those experiences woven in. Service learning, our campus has received awards for the amount of hours of service learning that students are getting as part of an academic program, professors who are weaving it into their coursework. And but that's a type of experiential learning, just like internships and job shadowing. And we believe that if they have the degree and they've had some of those things with it, that they're going to have that breadth of ability to do a lot of different things. Gotcha.
Yeah, and do you see a lot of students including those service learning on their resume, or is that something maybe they don't even think is something that is an experience to add on there?
Once in a great while they do, but sometimes Michael and I have to say, well, what else have you done? What are some other things?
You have to draw them out.
Yeah, it's amazing. Even some students who have done international trips who initially did not include that cultural experience, cross-cultural experience on their resume. So again, it's working with them as they're in their developing their career to realize how important those things are and the impact that those things have, and then being able to communicate that impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Those international experiences are amazing too. We have several of our instructors within humanities and social sciences that take yearly trips, different places. I know we have a couple of students over in Europe now. We do have a couple of students that went to recently down to South America. So they're all over the place doing really cool service learning while they're there. Not to mention the international trips, which are just phenomenal experiences to be adding to that resume, and not to mention something really cool to talk about that you've taken your experience from the classroom and actually applied it out into some kind of a work experience, which can apply to the service learning or the internship area, to kind of just name a few of those places. But I always find that really exciting when students come back and have had such a positive experience. It really is about the connections students make, though, and to your experience, where have most of the students kind of found those connections when they've been, is it something they found in the classroom, or do you see it more of professionals out, maybe here in the Richmond community in the Whitewater Valley? Where do you see most of that happening?
I've seen it everywhere. I've seen it, you know, perhaps a faculty member has mentored a student and suggested some things, hey, come along and do this. I know that our English department, for instance, they have been very hands-on with finding opportunities for their students, whether it's with the local pro bono office, the Wayne County Historical Museum, Cope Environmental Center, Palladium Item. You know, we've had some repeated internship opportunities, but I think the service learning too, you know, and students, you know, I hear bits and pieces, but connections that they've been making with local nonprofit organizations because of the service learning they've been doing, and it's opened up doors for them. We talk all the time with students about who are the people around you who can open doors for you, and maybe you don't know them yet, but I've seen it. I've seen students who go out on their own. It's somebody that they know, and they come and say, I know somebody, I'd like to have an experience working there.
Right.
So, you know, some students take the initiative, some students need a little help just getting there, but it's all across the board.
Yeah, yeah. We actually create one of those opportunities with partnering with the 4 colleges within the Richmond area, which is IU East, Purdue, Earlham,
Ivy Tech.
and Ivy Tech.
Yeah.
You know, and we call it the 4 colleges career fair, and just invite employers within the Richmond area and outside as well, and students have the opportunity to, you know, practice their elevator pitch and meet with potential employers and a lot, and that's a great opportunity because, you know, it's also good practice for, you know, meeting with people and presenting yourself, but it's also created a lot of interviewing, and there's been some potential job that's come out of that career fair as well. So, yeah.
It's really grown in the past couple of years, has it not, Liz? I know you've been working on it, and now that Michael's here, he's been helping you as well.
Yes.
It's going to be that's just a great opportunity for our students, as well as we do, getting the students all, you know, ready for those kind of interview opportunities and making sure that they're presentable for them. We do the career closet, where you can actually go in and find some you know, acceptable clothes to be wearing to an interview too, because it's all about how you present yourself as well. Not to mention, you know, what you're saying, but it's also how you look too as well.
Right. I think removing any of those barriers, and I think with our student population, we have a higher percentage of the first generation college student. So, not to generalize, but some of those students don't have as much of a reference for a professional career. And I know when I was a college student, it's not as if the money was rolling in either. So any help with a professional wardrobe, I know Michael and another colleague on campus have been very instrumental in helping to develop that. And people on campus are so willing to donate clothing, really nice professional clothing for that as well. So the 4 colleges career fair and the college coalition that we have, to have 4 very unique institutions in Wayne County alone, you know, a regional campus of Purdue Technology, regional campus of IU, Earlham, which is a great example of a liberal arts college, and then of course Ivy Tech Community College. Having all 4 of us right here in Wayne County, we thought it was silly not to have a partnership together. You know, resources are stretched thin, and so there have been some great initiatives with the 4 of us coming together and around career specifically.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I think we're nearing the end of our time here today. I want to thank you both so much for coming in and speaking, and we'll see you throughout the season as we're hosting our guests, so that'll be really exciting. And thank you so much for joining us at home.